Laws, first of all, do you have a good Christmas and New Year?
Yeah, you don't really get them in football, but yeah, enjoyed it. Good, few little bits time off with the family. Got a young lad myself, so yeah, he loved it. So no, it was good. But in football, obviously things change quickly, don't they? So it was a bit of a different Christmas and New Year than what we've had previously. But yeah, enjoyed it.
Obviously, football's a key part of everyone's lives here at the football club. Back in action tomorrow. Tuesday, Barnsley match. Good to get back going, I guess, with games.
Yeah, lads have been about 2.5, 3 weeks without a game. Last game was just before Christmas against Nottingham Forest in the Premier League Cup. So yeah, it'd be great for them to get back in. I think we've got 8 games in the next 5 weeks, so it's just the first of many games. So now always prefer games over training, and the lads should be the same. So yeah, can't wait to get back.
What's the workload been like for the players over the Christmas period? Obviously, no games since the 21st of December.
Yeah, so under 21s and under 18s programme kind of shut down over a Christmas period. So I mean, like from a fixtures point of view, our last game is the 23rd, and our first game is obviously tomorrow. Which again, I don't know the date. What's the date? The 12th. 9th. Oh, that's the 9th. So you go 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks without a game. But a lot of the lads were in over Christmas to support the first team, but there's no games to prepare for in terms of the 21s. But some of them over the Christmas period had games with the first team. So Melise Asamoah, for example, who I had over for Christmas dinner at my wife's family's house. So he had Christmas with us as he was on his own in the digs at Christmas. So he played on Boxing Day, so he probably wouldn't have thought that 2 weeks before going into that game that he'd be involved, and he thought he might have Christmas off, but he actually didn't. So yeah, it's we came in before the New Year, so we had 2-3 days in before the New Year as a group, so everyone was in then, but majority shut down. So we came back in on the 2nd of January after leaving on the 23rd.
With Melise, did you watch his portion sizes on Christmas
We
Day?
did, yeah. Under strict guidance from Yul Mwenni as to what he could and couldn't eat. So he was good, to be fair. He was didn't want him to be on his own, you see. So living so far away from home and family being there, and the sacrifices that you have to make in them times, just to make it a bit more bearable. I don't know if he probably preferred to be on his own or with me, but he was with me and my family that day. So yeah, he's a good kid.
In terms of the group, were they given like a fitness program to work off over the Christmas period, should we say?
Yeah. So they had to evidence that every day through the various resources that we have. So they had quite a tough program because we were in a good spot before we finished for the Christmas break, in good form as a team, and obviously individuals were in really good form. Hence why people are getting chances within the first team. So to maintain that and hit the ground running when they came back on the 2nd, and in between Christmas and New Year, they had a fitness plan to go away with, and they had to evidence that they were doing that. So there was a little bit of rest and recuperation time in there because that's important as well. And after a really hard, relentless 6 months, ready for another 5 months from now into May. 5
wins out of the last 6. Do you feel like the development squad on the 21s are heading in the right direction after a kind of a sticky period, in all honesty?
Yeah. Again, we've talked about it before. It's not results based, but obviously it's a barometer of how people are performing, and it's more performance based with a touch on results. So they do need to learn how to win. Yeah, massive part of young players' development, and wanting to win, that desire to go and win in different types of games, which they've shown. But yeah, they were in a really good place performance-wise before they left. That was important to help them progress, even to the first team, get opportunities to train with the first team, but also just for their own development. So yeah, we're looking forward to getting back to hopefully carry that on, because it's our first year at Cat 2. We've at 21s level, we haven't had a league table and whatnot before. You do at 18s obviously, but at Category 3 we don't have an under 21s programme as such. So it's really, really key. We were saying that when we play Barnsley tomorrow, there's a chance for us to go 3rd in the league and possibly 2nd if we carry on. So yeah, it's something that we keep an eye on and keep them focused on, because they do need to know it's about winning football longer term for them, not just about performances and development, because they're long term, they want to be winning every week for Fleetwood Town on a Saturday. So yeah, they're in a good place. We want to get them back there as quickly as possible.
How would you assess the first half of the season in terms of joining this new Cat 2 league?
Yeah, massively successful. Like from a club standpoint, listen, like with Fleetwood Town, we have to always remember with Fleetwood Town, we want to, we've got the aspirations of trying to reach the Champions League. That's the aspiration for every team in the whole country. But we are, like, as I've alluded to this year, a lot of with our group, that we're little old Fleetwood, we've got to have that mentality. For us to be in Category 2 and playing, I know Barnsley are in our league, but they're a miles bigger stature of club than a Fleetwood Town, for example, and then we play Cardiff's, QPR's, Burnley in our league, you know, like massive clubs in comparison to the size of Fleetwood. So successful in terms of, and how we deem success here, is appearances in the first team and trying to forge careers, and we've had a lot of that. So Stephen McMullen come through our programme, he's played twice, 3 times. Theo Williams has made a debut, and then there's loads of different factors to that, people going out on loan and progressing that way. But yeah, we deem it a massive success that we had no idea going into this category what to expect, really. We've learnt quickly in that 6 months. As you said, we had a sticky patch in probably the middle of that half of the season, with change of manager and obviously me being with the first team for a little bit and then coming back. So that changes things for them. But again, successful in terms of they've had to deal with a change of coach at first team level, and then also at 21s in that Pondy jumped in for me for what, a 5-week period, 5-6 game period. So that's what's going to happen in their careers, hopefully for the next 20 years, and that means they've had a successful career that they've played under a load of different managers. So yeah, success all round in terms of player progression and also how the club have fitted into Cat 2.
You touched on the loan system and the loan programme within the group. We look at Pat Boy's 37 games, I think it is already this season. George Morrison doing really well at Kings Lynn, along with Billy Jones. Finn Armstrong's just gone on loan as well. For those players, it's a great opportunity to get out there, but for you, I guess it's about pushing their boundaries on and off the pitch, living away from home, playing men's football, and ultimately winning 3 points in the game, because it's a different kind of environment for those groups.
Well, exactly. We've had discussions all about it since Jack Higgins came into the club. We've used the loan system like really effectively, I think. So we do it for loads of different reasons. That, say for example, one of your better players in 21s, it might feel a little bit strange that you send them out on loan to gain experience, and rather, but if there's no way into the first team at that moment, and what we feel that we need for that person at that moment might be loads of different things. So under 21s, you don't really play in front of crowds. You tend to play at training grounds more often than not. So sending them to a club that get 1,000 plus. So for example, Macclesfield on Boxing Day had 4,000 fans. So we know that with Drew Baker's just left and gone today, he's playing. So playing in front of 4,000 fans, and you manage to tick that off when you're ready for playing in front of. That's one more thing that you're experiencing, ready to go and play for Fleetwood Town on a Saturday. So loads and loads of factors behind it. It's for the individual. We send them out for their development. Some people it might not suit as much, but we try and utilise it as best we can at whatever level for the right reason. We just sent a second year scholar, well, George Morrison and Bisembo Namputu, to the levels that they're at Northern Premier League and National League North, because we truly believe in it. They've got a game here on Saturday, but it doesn't really matter for the under-18s in terms of that. We feel for the individual that's the right move to go and tick a load of things off, playing against men, understanding that winning is everything at that level. Might not be pretty at times, but it's a level that I've played at, Pondy's played at, Yatesy's played at, in non-league. They had much better careers than me, but for the lads, it's untold the amount of learning that can be had because there's certain things that we can only control here. So they'll go into a men's environment, might get shouted at with a few bad words thrown in there, and it feels as real as it possibly as much as we try and make it real here. Again, training grounds, possibly 3 points not meaning everything to them, which it should, but it might not always, because you've got loads of different factors. But Saturday it means everything to these boys, and they'll tell you if they're not happy. So no, it's really, really good for them.
And when you touched on there, George Morrison's a prime example of someone who's gone away a kid and come back a young man, hasn't he? He's matured so much on loan, learned so much about himself, cooking on himself, cleaning. It's all part of their development as a professional and as a human being.
Well, George, for example, like he said, he was 17 when he went, and then turned 18 whilst he was out on loan, which is incredible, really. The same with Boss. Boss has gone out as a second-year scholar, same age as George. So George has moved away from home, having to cook, clean. His mum and dad will do a lot for him, and when he's in the digs here, we're cooking for them, and they get given everything. Whereas there, and it's just kind of right, you're onto your own devices now. Learn how to be a professional athlete yourself. So he has to cook, he has to clean, he's away from family, away from his girlfriend, he's away from loads of different things. And me, I've known George I've coached George since he was 13, 14 myself. So I've been his coach for 5-6 years. So he's getting away from me as well, which could be a good thing for him, that he's experienced a different manager, a different voice, a different way of playing, but loads and loads of factors. It's so positive, the loan moves, when they work out, but it takes buy-in from the players, and then obviously ultimately the manager that's going to play them there. They've got to build trust, because as I said, it's 3 points, where Kings Lynn at the moment, in a sticky patch of results at the moment, after I went to watch them just before Christmas, beat Southport 4-0. It's so amazing for George and now Owen to go there in a relegation fight where it's mortgages on the line. It's every single point, every single minute of every game matters. So it's fantastic for their development, and as a person, but also as a player.
Owen Davenport signed on Friday last week. A player that will ultimately go out on loan, but someone to obviously push the players here as well at Fleetwood Town, with Sam Fishburn being probably a similar type of player to him. Yes.
Fish has been fantastic this year. Really has been fantastic as a person, and as even more importantly as a player. But it's just competition. We're not going to turn down good players. Owen became available, and we're just not in a position where we can turn down good players. We want the best players around the area, or what's a reach for us, to ultimately get into the first team. So if that pushes Fish to get into the first team, fantastic. If Fish pushes Owen, that's a battle for them too, as well as Will Russ, as well as Theo. So we've got 4 unbelievable strikers at under 21s level at Fleetwood Town, little old Fleetwood, that is unbelievable for us. So hopefully they'll push each other, and either both of them or one of them or all 4 of them will get through, but it'll push the best one to get through. So that's ultimately the competition element of football as well.
Third manager of the season for you to work under. It's been a roller coaster of a season, that's fair to say. But how have you been with Charlie? How has Charlie been with you since he came through the doors?
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, he's first and foremost a really good person, and that's a huge. Listen, in life, everyone talks about in football. When you're in football, it's in football that it's no different to life. It's build relationships first, be a good person, understand what's already in place, and then try and bring your expertise to it. So I briefly knew Charlie, the gaffer, prior, just being a local lad myself and him living locally. So I've seen him about in just certain circles. So yeah, he's been really, really good, and you know what, there's a real bounce to the place. You can feel it. Even the game on Saturday, the result didn't go the way, but the feeling that came off it, I'm really hopeful that Charlie, Maurice and Roscoe can come in and keep us up, and get us everyone on board to how we want to play at Fleetwood Town. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to working with him, but he's been really, really good. He's just a good, down-to-earth person who ultimately is now the manager of the football club and hopefully steers us towards safety.
I know it's been a crazy end to the year and start of 2024. Has he spoken to you about how maybe players can step up or opportunities coming in like many managers have done? Yeah,
we've got a history, a recent history of doing that, haven't we? So he's aware of that, being a local, like living locally. He's been to a load of games. Obviously, we coached against him. We played against his team at Burnley about 9 weeks ago. So yeah, he's aware. He said there will be opportunities to train. Situation that we're in, the best players will play. If that's a young lad, brilliant. If it's one of the senior ones, that's fine. But that's the situation we're in. But he said opportunities to train and play will be there dependent on performance. So yeah, he's open and willing. He knows how this club wants to work. He took the job on the premise of that. I guess that's what he said. So for him, obviously, the situation we're in takes precedent. And the best players will play, but yeah, he's been really clear, introduced that all to the staff and the players on his first morning, second jam when they came back. He sat down with the under-21s in this room and introduced that. So really pleased, because the clarity and communication is a huge part of any successful football club, and he's initially done that and he's carried that on. So yeah, it's been fantastic so far.
Just a final one from me in terms of team news. Any injury updates, or is everyone fit to go?
Billy Jones came back from Kings Lynn injured, and then started training and got injured again. Theo Williams the same from Torquay, so just carrying both little type of players they are, really fast, powerful individuals, both got hamstring, little niggles. And Josh Edwards is still recovering, and Will Russ has got a slight ankle injury, but he's at Hyde anyway. But other than that, no, full bill of health.